Welcome to Fresh Perspectives, a series with professionals who have insights. And today I'm sitting with Delphine Mousseau. Delphine is based in Berlin, works with CEOs and executive teams on winning digital strategies. But today we're talking very much about how that translates into careers. And Delphine has several insights, what she calls the big fat lies in career development. Delphine, would you like to introduce some of them?
Yes, let's start with one big fat lie. People think that you need to give it all to succeed professionally. And I think it is not true. And it's very important to debunk those fat lies because people are really stuck in their career because they think it cannot work for them, and especially in this give it all. Personally, as a woman and mother of 4 children, it's been difficult for me to give it all to my career. And I think it's important to realize that actually there are other ways to succeed professionally and finding out solutions to actually get the most of your time without having to sacrifice on your personal balance and equilibrium.
So, how does this message go down with CEOs and other ExCo members that you're working with? Do they embrace this not needing to give it all philosophy?
So actually, it's quite interesting. Some people have got different views. And this morning I was talking to a CEO who is currently doing 2 jobs. He's actually managing director of a country and a region because he's transitioning. And the person who's supposed to take over his former job didn't arrive and is most likely not going to arrive. And it was very interesting because, by the fact that he's not focusing enough on his new job, he's actually putting himself in a almost recipe for failure is a new job. And in the old job, he's actually, it's revealing how he was working with his previous team. And he was actually covering a lot for his team. So I think it takes a lot about being very intentional on where you want to succeed. What is your highlight project? The things that nobody else in the company can do that you're going to do and make it very visible. And that's going to be your trophy project. On this one, you should give it all. But it doesn't mean you need to give your 24 hours a day, because what you can do is, of course, delegate and really work on having a very, very strong team that you can delegate to, empower them, and maybe on some project, which are not your trophy project, accept that you might be only 80% right or even sometimes fail. And it would be even better to, have less projects. But if you still have to have a lot of projects, decide the ones that you're okay with failing so you can regroup and have time for yourself.
So I'm hearing 2 strands to this. One is very much about focusing on the highlight project, focusing on the meaningful few, as somebody else has put it. And the second is about making sure you're supported by a high quality team. Let's dig into each of these. So in order not to be working all the time, what does a CEO need to do?
I think a CEO needs to focus on sequence. And I think companies who are working in OKRs are forced to have focus because you cannot put a long laundry list of things that you want to do. And sequence, meaning accepting that you cannot do everything at the same time. I call it the theory of the piano. If you're doing a move and everybody's carrying boxes, at some point you need to whistle and get everyone together to move the piano because you cannot do it on your own. And if you're standing next to the piano all day, the piano is not going to move. So I think in many projects you can see in companies, and especially as we're working cross-functionally, and digital is very often a topic which is cross-functional, you cannot get it moving unless everyone is putting it top on this agenda. And this is why it's very important to get this, this focus and sequence right.
Right. Okay. Now, how do you start that process? Suppose that you're working with a new exec who is typically overburdened, who has a long laundry list of 20 priorities, which we all know means no priorities, but still they're important to him or her. Where do you begin?
So I think it's important first to realize the impact of having a long list on your mental load. I think it's personal and professional. If you are trying to do many things at the same time, it just doesn't work. But if you even think about what you have to do, it's taking a lot of your mental space. I'm a fervent against multitasking. I think you can do only one thing at a time. Actually, it's quite funny. Recently, I've been listening to podcasts faster and faster. And I'm a fast person, but I've realized that if I listen to a podcast and do something, I don't really get the top of it. But if I listen and I'm fully concentrated, I can go up to 2.6 speed time. And actually, I'm fully focused. I do it well, and then it's done. And I sequence, and then I do what I have to do next. And I think first you have to understand for yourself that multitasking and trying to do 20 things at the same time is going to be the worst result. Once you
Indeed.
understand that doing things one by one, fully focused, is going to get you through, then you can apply it to your work and think, okay, what are the projects that I must do? Because if I don't do them, the company is going to be under pressure. What are the projects that if I do them, it really help me be myself, though, shine in my environment. It's not necessarily to get a promotion, but also for yourself, knowing that you've achieved something. And then defining which are the ones that actually are not making such a difference or not making such a difference now. So it's not necessarily a no, but it can be a not yet.
Mm-hmm.
But it
How did
starts with
you
awareness.
come?
Yeah. I insist that it starts with awareness.
Indeed. How did you arrive at these realizations, Delphine?
Well, being for a big time of my life, a single mom of 4 children, I couldn't be with all my 4 children on their back all the time. So I had, to find out how to make it work. And I had also to decide what is important for me, in terms of energy and so for myself, building energy and giving energy to different projects. So on receiving energy, there are some stuff with young children, which is really fun to do, like giving the bath when they're really babies. But then when they're older, you realize actually you don't enjoy it. So you start asking yourself, did what I enjoy yesterday, I enjoy today? And do you really want to do that? And then I apply it at work, maybe some task I really enjoy doing, like organizing Cyber Week. Or maybe, I've done it. I know it in and out, and other people can take over. I'm not going to be frustrated about it, and I'm just going to delegate it. And if it's only 80% right, it's okay. Where 2 years ago, it needed to be 100% right because it was my project, my big thing.
Okay. So it sounds like we have to renegotiate what's 100% right. What's our relationship with quality? What's our relationship with 100% right? That
Yes.
sounds like quite an important part
Yeah.
of this decision making.
Yeah, because you need to have your brain really to function properly. You need to have your brain rested. So I think when you're the enemy of of giving it all is that you're overtired, you're over busy, and you don't think right. You don't think through right, and you're making mistakes. And it also
Yeah.
has an effect on people around you, on your relationship. And we all know that we cannot be happy being alone as as a loner trying to achieve things, both personally. I mean, you need to have your circle of friends and loved ones that you need to spend time with, but also as a team. If you're not paying attention to your team members, it's not gonna work. So I think it's very important to have this space. And for some people, it can be a lot of space, and maybe they can be productive only 50% of their time, but they can still move mountains in 50% of their time. And some
Yeah.
people, it's more. It's your own level of energy.
Yeah. You mentioned giving attention to team members. Any particular practices you'd recommend there?
So for me, what really worked is to have some time where people know I'm at my desk and it's kind of an open time.
Yeah.
It's not very often that people show up, but they do show up. So that's helpful to have this kind of open office time. I think
Yeah.
it's also helpful to spend time with the people who are in your teams, like N-2, N-3, to understand really what's going through properly. So in terms of understanding your strategy, but also understanding how the culture is applied in the company. So you might, for instance, say that it's okay not to work crazy hours, but maybe some of your team lead in your structure are actually not feeling this way and pressurizing people, and you might not know about it.
Okay.
So, or it can be that people don't understand the priority. They don't understand that we're actually moving the piano now. So you need to, I think this check-in is very helpful.
Okay. So having some open time in the diary into which people can just casually drop in.
Yes, and having some time that you plan. I used to do a long coffee on the Friday morning with people more junior in my team, to have this exchange on what's working well, what could be better, and like not saying bad things on your boss, but helping me understand how to guide people better, so the whole team, like really at all the
Okay.
levels, is more efficient.
Yeah. Yeah. Very interesting. Delphine, thanks for joining Fresh Perspectives. It's been a pleasure to host you today.
Thank you very much.